programme. But first, a tune that turns up regularly among requests, I guess from perhaps our more mature listeners, who maybe saw the MGM film, which was really the first of those to revolutionise the movie musical. It was the Broadway melody. It was premiered in Hollywood on February the 1st, 1929, and on April the 26th that same year, the Jack Hylton Orchestra in London recorded one of the everlasting songs from it. So here we are on March the 2nd. We're just about halfway between those dates, and listening in 1992 to a 63-year-old recording of The Wedding of the Painted Doll.
It's a holiday, today's the wedding of the painted doll. It's a jolly day, the news is spreading all around the hall. Red Riding Hood and Buster Browne, the jumping jack, jumped into town. From far and near, they're coming here. Church bells ringing, ringing. All the little dollies from the follies with the painted cheeks. Little Mama Doll has passed around for weeks and weeks. Shoe the blues, no time to lose. Rice and shoes will spread the news that it's a holiday. Today's the wedding of the little painted doll.
Marvellous. The Wedding of the Painted Doll, Jack Hylton and his orchestra playing the music of Nasir Herb Browne, singing the words of Arthur Freed, Sam Browne. Now to the first of our birthday requests. This one for Geoffrey Wood of Acox Green, Birmingham, who tells me that tomorrow, March the 3rd, he will be just a couple of years older than that Hylton record we've just played. Happy birthday to you, Mr. Wood. I'm sure your friends Norman Glover and Ray Badham, as ex-dance band musicians, will enjoy this too. I hope they've remembered your birthday. It's Ray Noble's orchestra and Al Bowley on July the 12th, 1933, with Roll Up the Carpet.
back the chairs, get some music on the radio. Don't mind the neighbors who live downstairs, they went out to see a show. Roll up the carpet, push back the chairs, then be sure that all the lights are low. Dance with the girlfriend, the one who cares, tell her that you love her so. When you're feeling tired of dancing, try and find a place to park. Go to any cozy corner, take advantage of the dark. Roll up your troubles, fold up your cares, just forget you haven't got a dime. Roll up the carpet and push back the chairs, you're bound to have a wonderful time. Just forget you haven't got a dime. Roll up the carpet and push back the chairs, you're bound to have a wonderful time. You're bound to have a wonderful time.
Ray Noble and Al Bowley. Mark Frankish of Kingston upon Hull would like a record for his parents Bob and Betty Frankish, also of Kingston upon Hull, and suggests J. Wilbur's February 1935 recording of OK Toots, from the film Kid Millions, in which it was sung by Eddie Cantor and the Goldwyn Girls. But with Wilbur, it's Pat O'Malley and the Three Ginx. And as you say, Mark, it's a beaut.
Like I like you, we know nobody new will do. It's okay, Toots, okay, Toots. If you say yes, then I'll say yes. If you say no, then it's no go. It's okay, Toots. You know I'm in favor of whatever you do. I tasted the flavor of one kiss, and then I knew it was okay, Toots. If you wash dishes, I dry dishes. I dry dishes, I'm ambitious. Okay, Toots. I'm ambitious, okay, Toots.
J. Wilbur and Pat O'Malley and the Three Ginx. You've actually heard the star of the next record already, although you may not have known it. He was one of the trumpets on the Ray Noble record. And I have a number of cards and letters that send him very happy birthday wishes for next Saturday, March the 7th. And the object of all this attention is friend Nat Gonella. Among those who send you and Dorothy greetings and best wishes, Nat, are Edna and Ron Rogers of Chippenham in Wiltshire, who still remember those wonderful birthday parties at the Hammersmith Palais and your many stage appearances. John Wortham on the Isle of Wight. Mr. Wortham, I'm not having much luck at the moment with your requests, but you mentioned Sid Morseman, so perhaps you'll share his choice later. And there's also a card from Leslie Coote of Hanwell with best wishes. He writes that he's not been lucky in the past with requests, but he is this time. Here from the Georgians in January 1936 is the Fat Swallow Andy Razov tune, Blue Turning Grey Over You.
Your tender kiss and the wonderful things you will do. Oh, baby, those wonderful things. I've wrung my hand through silver strands, but I'm blue, turning gray over you. You used to be, baby, oh, so sweet to me. That's when I was your lover. Now, baby, you found another. You've had your thrills and you found someone new. Left me blue, turning gray over you.
Gonella's Georgians, Blue Turning Grey Over You. The new Georgians later. Nat, one of those who personally sends you greetings is Tiny Winters, but you probably had a phone call from him already, conveying my wishes as well. Incidentally, Tiny called me a couple of days after last week's programme about the Brian Lawrance record I played of Nobody's Sweetheart. I named what I thought was the personnel, mentioning particularly the guitar solo, and really I should have been alerted by the quality of that solo. But let me give you the facts. In the Brian Russ Sandy Forbes tome on the British dance bands on record, they note that on March the 28th, 1935, Brian Lawrance and the Quaglinos Quartet recorded two titles, Ain't She Sweet and Nobody's Sweetheart, which were rejected. But on April the 4th, a further recording was successfully made of those two tunes plus two more. Tiny Winters tells me that the rhythm section was the cause of the rejection by Decca in the first instance, and so a different combination was recruited for the second attempt. And those involved were Browne, Lawrance, violin and vocal, clarinetist, saxophonist Jim Easton, and accordionist Frank Gregori, who'd been on the first session, of course. The new pianist was Arthur Young, replacing Harold Hood. Tiny Winters replaced Harry Wilson on bass, and the guitarist was the great Albert Harris, not Mark Sheridan. As a matter of fact, Tiny alerted Sandy Forbes to this change, but unfortunately, the book was already in print. After which, let's hear the new ensemble in Yes, Sir, That's My Baby.
Baby, no sir, don't mean maybe. Yes sir, that's my baby now. Yes ma'am, we've decided. No ma'am, we won't hide it. Yes ma'am, you're invited now. By the way, when we reach the preacher, I'll say, yes sir, that's my baby. No sir, don't mean maybe. Yes sir, that's my baby now. Pretty soon, we will hear that low and grin tune. Oh, yes, sir, she's for me, sir. Who for should she be, sir? Yes, sir, that's my baby now.
Browne, Lawrance, and the changed ensemble in Yes, Sir, That's My Baby. As you can imagine, there are plenty of leftovers from our Harry Roy special last month. This was suggested by Leonard Barris in Northumberland. It's the November 1937 recording of Remember Me.
September afternoon, I stood with you and listened to a wedding cue. And didn't I go with you on your honeymoon? Remember me? Do you recall a cottage small upon a hill, where every day I had to pay another bill? And if I'm not mistaken, dear, I pay them still. Remember me, do you or don't you? I can see that little angel on your
on me. Can't you see? He kinda sorta looks like me. For I'm the boy whose only joy is loving you, who worries till he hurries home when day is through. And I'm the guy you give your goodnight kisses to. You remember me? Remember me?
Remember Me. Yes, it is John Curtis of Copsewood in Coventry would like me to play a record for Mr. R.G. Williams, MBE, RAF retired, also of Coventry, who had a birthday last month. I'm so sorry I couldn't manage to fit this in then. I believe you had a band in India, sir, and I wondered if this might be one of the tunes you played, but I think it came along too late for that. Here's Lou Prager's Hammersmith Palais Band and Edna Kaye with My Dreams Are Getting Better All the Time.
Got me so upset. I mean the one I told you about that made me gay, the one about the dream that I dreamt I met. Well, what do you know, he smiled at me in my dreams last night. My dreams are getting better all the time. And what do you know, he looked at me in a different light. My dreams are getting better all the time. To think that we were strangers a couple of nights ago, and though it's a dream I never dreamed he'd ever say hello. Well, maybe tonight he'll hold me tight when the moonbeams shine. My dreams are getting better all the time. Couple of nights ago, and though it's a dream I never dreamed he'd ever say hello. Well, maybe tonight he'll hold me tight when the moonbeams shine. My dreams are getting better all the time.
Lou Prager at the Hammersmith Palais with Edna Kaye, and My Dreams Are Getting Better All the Time. In January 1945, that was. And finally, as promised, one more to wish Nat Gonella a happy birthday and to thank Dorothy for putting up with him all those years. All good wishes from Peter and Susan Stapleton in Lincolnshire, the aforementioned John Wortham on the Isle of Wight, and Sid Morseman of Paddington Green in London, who has asked me to play the Johnson Rag, which the New Georgians recorded at Green's Playhouse in Glasgow during the band's season there in April and May 1941. Gonella's New Georgians and the Johnson Rag. Well, that brings to an end my time with you this evening. In a few minutes, Sheila Tracy will be introducing the All-Winners concert of the National Big Band Competition, but I'll see you again next week, as usual. Till then, from me, Alan Dell, bye-bye.
BBC Radio 2.
The news at 8 o'clock. This is David Bellon. The telephone watchdog body Oftel is banning telephone chat lines. From next month, it's revoking the code of practice governing the chat lines, in which several callers take part in a conversation. The decision follows worries about a compensation fund to help users faced by huge bills run up without their knowledge. Here's our media correspondent, Nick Hyam.
The fund's paid out more than £400,000 since it was set up 2 years ago, but another £660,000 is needed to meet claims, and I understand the 12 companies who operate chat lines have failed to stump up the money. Oftel says British Telecom has now agreed to pay all outstanding claims. The ban only applies to party line services in which several callers can talk to one another. Other so-called premium rate services, like one-to-one conversation lines, sex lines, competition lines, or those carrying recorded information, aren't affected by the ban, although they've also been accused of breaches of taste and of exploiting unwitting callers, especially children.
The Northern Ireland Secretary, Peter Brooke, says he's hopeful that inter-party negotiations on the political future of the province will start again very soon. He was speaking after talks at Stormont with the leaders of the four main constitutional parties. The dialogue is expected to begin after a meeting of the Anglo-Irish Intergovernmental Conference in Dublin later this week. 5 former prisoners at Strangeways Jail have been cleared of murdering an inmate during the riot 2 years ago. The prosecution dropped the charge at Manchester Crown Court after medical evidence. The 5 and 3 others still face charges of riot. The Labour Party has unveiled new proposals for motorists. Under the scheme, makes of car would be ranked according to their safety performance. Labour also wants to reform the driving test to include motorway driving. Part of the M4 motorway near Bristol has been reopened after engineers completed a major operation to move a road bridge. The scheme to take it to a lay-by to be broken up took far longer than expected and led to long delays for drivers. The eastbound carriage is now open. The westbound lanes should be reopened soon. That's the news for now. We'll have more at 9 o'clock.
Radio 2.
Hello, this is Sheila Tracy welcoming you to the Golders Green Hippodrome for the All-Winners concert of BBC Radio 2's 17th National Big Band Competition. Competition that's open to all comers, has a senior and a junior section, and I can tell you that this year the standard has been exceptionally high. This is the 3rd year we've allowed direct entries, and most of the bands opted for this, although some did enter through their BBC local radio stations or national regions. We had 3 entries from Scotland, but Wales went missing, as did Northern Ireland. Now, I was over in Belfast in November having a chat to some officials from the Musicians' Union over a pint of their local brew, and I said, we want an entry from you next year or else. Now, all the entries have been judged unidentified by our jury of top musicians, who this year were John Dankworth, Alan Ganley, Henry Lowther, Don Lusher, and Pete Moore. Together, they chose the winning bands and soloists you're about to hear. So, who's come out on top this year? Well, if past form is anything to go by, they were a good bet. Winning the senior section for the 4th time in 8 years, the Guildhall Jazz Band, directed by Scott Stroman. taking the tenor solo there, Russell Cowison. Friends, played by the Guildhall Jazz Band with their musical director, Scott Stroman. Now, although this is a completely open competition and we encourage both professional and amateur bands to enter, those entries are governed by very strict rules. 1, the recording has to be made within the current year. 2, no musician, musical director, composer or arranger can be associated with more than one band in the competition. Now, this year, for the very first time, we had some problems. Because after the judging had taken place, we found that some of the personnel listed with a particular band had not actually played with that band on the stated recording date. It was also unlikely that the recording had been made within the specified time. The band in question withdrew from the competition, but that meant that 3 of the soloist prizes were invalid. So this year, the Don Lasher Trombone Prize, the Kenny Clare Drum Prize, and the local radio prize for the best soloist will not be awarded. Now we come to the winners of the junior section, all of them under 22 at the time of recording. They've been runners-up for the past 2 years, so it's third time lucky for the Aylesbury Music Centre Dance Band directed by Nick Kerr. Playing their competition entry, Rob McConnell's arrangement of Just Friends, the Aylesbury Music Centre dance band with their musical director, Nick Kerr. And taking solos there, Matt Quick, Mark Armstrong and Joe Butler. Now, this band was formed by a small group of enthusiasts in a secondary school in Buckinghamshire 20 years ago. 10 years later, it was taken over by the local education authority, and such has been the level of their support since then that the Aylesbury Music Centre now has 22 ensembles of varying sizes, all feeding musicians into this, their showpiece big band. The Guildhall Jazz Band's competition entry, Splashing, was composed by their musical director, Scott Stroman, and it has won for him the MCPS Composition Prize for a record-breaking third time. Now, I think I've discovered his secret formula. When the band first entered and won this competition in 1985, they played Little Doll, which Scott had written for his daughter, Emily. In 1987, he won the composition prize with Walk Softly, written for his son, Luke. Now he's written this suite of 4 movements, one of which is dedicated to his daughter, Abigail, and this one, Splashing, to his wife, Sue. That only leaves the mother-in-law. Watch out for solos here from guitarist David Schooling, Penrose Feast on tenor, Christopher Wortley trumpet, percussionist James Mack, and Val Swingler on alto in Splashin'. Oh, and also look out for the vocal refrain.